Have you ever left your doctor's office with a smile on your face because your doctor just told you everything is normal? Your labs are great, but deep down you're thinking, why do I still feel so tired? Why do I feel moody and not like myself? Before we dive in, let me tell you a story. A client, she's a 45-year-old female. She's a career woman. She's got multiple children. She came to me. She had already had some labs drawn, and apparently those labs were perfect. But the problem is she would literally sit up every single day because she couldn't understand why perfect wasn't reflecting in how she was feeling inside. And it wasn't until we ran deeper testing that we found out that, in fact, she had some underlying functional issues that were not uncovered. And that's what we're talking about today. So it's not that your doctor doesn't know what is happening, but the traditional lab testing don't tell the whole story. You might have gotten labs like CBC, which is what is a blood test that shows your blood cell count, your immune function. Again, it's still very basic. You might have had a metabolic panel that'll look at your liver function and your kidney function, your glucose, which is your sugar level, and then some proteins. You might have had cholesterol testing, maybe some thyroid, but sometimes the thyroid function is not completely the whole test that you're getting. Sometimes, especially for women in perimenopause, labs like your ferritin levels, your iron stores, sometimes if that's not checked, that might be the problem. And maybe that's why you're so exhausted all the time. And that's what I really love about the functional medicine approach. Functional medicine really looks at the root cause of why things are happening. So when you go to a doctor and you're just being diagnosed based on your symptom, but not looking at the root cause, sometimes things get missed. So deeper testing, for example, could look at things like your thyroid. If you've gone to the doctor and your doctor only checked your TSH, which stands for thyroid stimulating hormone, sometimes that doesn't give you the whole picture of what's actually happened with your thyroid levels. A full panel should look at things like your free T3 and your T4. Reverse T3, look at antibodies. Antibodies can tell you if you have an autoimmune response, which means your body is essentially sort of like attacking your organ. So if you have inflammation, for example, your body's natural response is to try to fight it off. And if it thinks that there's something on your organs that's causing the problem, it starts to attack it. So it's attacking its body in a way. So sometimes thyroid problems can be an autoimmune issue. But if your doctor only checked a TSH and if it's considered normal, you might be missing a lot more of the picture. And sometimes if you go to your doctor and you complain of fatigue and you don't get gut testing, looking at how your gut function is actually improved, you may to look at how your gut function is actually impacting your health, that can be missed as well. So thorough gut function testing could be maybe going online and ordering a test that's checking your stool for if you have any growth of an unusual bacteria that's not usually found in your gut. Maybe you have what's called yeast overgrowth. Maybe you have food sensitivities. And usually that would go with things like if you're having bloating or gas, diarrhea, and you might be diagnosed with irritable bowel syndrome. If you're diagnosed with that and you're given a medication to fix it, but you're not removing the root cause of something that's offending your gut, then you're just simply masking the symptom and not dealing with the actual problem. Think of it as looking at a plant. The leaves are falling off, but you're okay. Meanwhile, a functional medicine provider might say, the soil is drying up before the leaves even start to curl up. So we're looking at a deeper level of where the problem might be so that we can find a solution to the problem. I hope that makes sense. So going back to my patient's story, what was really happening for her was that she had a low T3 level. Now T3 is the actual thyroid hormone that your thyroid produces. So when you have a low level, you're going to have unexplained fatigue and weight gain and mood swings. So this is where the deeper dive into your lab testing would be appropriate. So for her, it wasn't laziness, it wasn't depression, it was biology. So we really needed to figure out what was the missing puzzle. Did she have the correct micronutrients to help her convert her inactive thyroid hormone to the active form? So once we knew that, we built a plan around her. So we started to figure out what are some foods that we could potentially eliminate that would further impact her thyroid function. If she had an autoimmune issues, is it what she's eating? Do we need to eliminate certain foods? Sometimes just eliminating some foods from your diet can be a game changer for you and you don't even need to be on medication. So maybe you're thinking, you know what? All these lab tests cost so much money. I can't afford that. What can I do right now? So here are 3 things that you can start right now. I want you to track your symptoms for about a month. Track your mood. Track your energy, your digestion, your menstrual cycle, if you're still cycling. Start to spot the patterns. Trust me, this will be very revealing to you. And I want you to get curious, not furious. If you get labs done, ask for these labs. Free T3, reverse T3, vitamin D, ferritin. Ask for copies of your labs. Learn to read them alongside standard ranges. So standard ranges range from low. Standard ranges have a range and it depends on each lab that you go to. So not every single lab has the same range or even the same way of measuring. So look at where you are in that range. If you have a low to a higher level, where are you in that range? Are you on the lower end of normal, on the upper range of normal? So for you, you might do better if your hormone levels were a little bit higher and you feel better at that. Why somebody else may feel better at the number that you are. You see how this can really differ depending on the person? So if you fall within that range, sometimes the doctor might tell you, well, you're fine because you're within this normal range. But how about if you were here versus way out here? The other thing I want you to do is focus on these three basic things: sleep, blood sugar, balancing hydration. Even without perfect labs, your body wants to still heal if you give it a chance. I want you to track your sleep patterns, whether you can use digital products or something like that to track, maybe a watch. There's a lot of smart beds out there right now. There's the Oura Ring. You can do all of these things to track patterns. What are your blood sugars? I highly recommend you getting a continuous glucose monitor. I always tell people continuous glucose monitor is a game changer. You don't have to have high blood sugar or diabetes to get one. There are some that are available online that you don't need a prescription for. One of them is Stelo. It's called Stelo. Go to stelo.com. It's one that sometimes I'll recommend for my patients. You go on there, you can order one, and they'll ship it right to your door. So I recommend that one. You can order it, you can track it, you can download an app on your phone, and it'll track your blood sugars. The other thing is hydration. This one's very easy. Make sure that you are going everywhere with water. These are three things that often they're very simple and it seems very basic, but can really make a difference, especially during midlife. You're really having those swings in your hormone levels depending on stress and sleep and everything else that's happening when life starts to life, right? But here's the big idea that I want you to take away from today. Normal isn't the goal. Normal is not the goal. You are getting older. Sometimes things need to be a little bit more optimized. Maybe 10 years ago, you did okay at what's considered normal, but right now you need to step it up. You need to elevate your health, right? Thriving is the goal. So if you want help decoding your own health story, I'm putting together a mini series all about how to get deeper answers, even if your doctor says you're fine. So if you're ready for that, I want you to drop "I'm ready" in the comment section if you want early access to this mini series. Or the other thing I want you to do is DM me the word labs on Instagram if you want a personalized chat. And if nobody's told you today, you are powerful, you are wise, and you deserve to feel your best self and thrive through midlife and beyond.